want to know what happens to an eyeball when it gets punctured? You got any idea how much blood jets out of a guy's neck?
You've come back to us, Michael. Seekers, stop the rage.
Hey, how about an orgy? I'm sure if we try, we can get Jay hard again.
We'll tear your soul apart. Get me back my head. Get me back my head. Don't be afraid.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Happy Halloween, everybody, and welcome back to the Retro Blood as we celebrate this great Halloween season with the Retro Blood Halloween episode. Yes, how many times can I say Halloween? I can say it a shit ton. Okay, yep. And we're celebrating fun this season, brother, because we are reviewing one of my personal favorite, all-time favorite party Halloween horror movies of all time. Yes, if y'all like tits, there's a lot of tits. If y'all like kids in a haunted hill funeral mansion home, if you like demons that look awfully like the ones from Evil Dead, alright, if you like lipstick, if you like a lipstick in your titty, this is a review for you, brother, because the Retro Blood is talking all about Night of the Demons, or the original.
Original, yeah.
Alright, brother, this is the original. Yeah, no remix in this bitch. J. Alison, James Kline, what's happening, Alison? How you doing? My mic's all fucked up.
What's up?
How you doing?
What's up, man? It's great. I mean, 2 days till Halloween. We're doing our Halloween episode. We just finished, a nice run of Friday the 13th movies. We did 8 of them in a row.
Can you believe that?
And yeah, it's crazy. It's like a marathon.
Can't believe we finished that.
Yeah,
I thought I was gonna get killed somehow during then, and never finish it.
I'm just amazed that anybody's sticking with us after all this time. So,
well, how could you
guys
not,
listen
bro?
to 8 of those in a row? That's great.
I mean, how could you not, though? I mean, those were really fun. You know what I mean? We have kids. They're out in the woods doing cocaine, getting killed by a crazy mass Frankenstein serial killer guy. I mean, come on now. Huh?
Yeah, but now we're off to our party episode. This is our party episode. It's starting off. It's kind of the second episode of our third year, so it's kind of a celebration, and it's Halloween in 2 days.
Yes,
so we're drinking Halloween, some beers, throwing some back. Happy Halloween, guys.
Yeah, we're kind of like, so me and Allison, we lived the gimmick. So what we did was we checked ourselves into the Hall House, okay?
Yeah.
And we're doing a podcast live from it. Not really, but that'd be fucking awesome. They actually tore that shit down, so I guess we couldn't.
Don't break the gimmick. Yeah, it's all blustery and windy and dark outside. It's like it's a perfect night for horror movies
there's a
Halloween
stream,
party.
There's a stream coming down from the bottom for some reason. I mean, come on now. What could you not love about the demons?
What we really need is, like, in the background, we just need like one of those Sounds of the Haunted House albums just playing constantly with like bats and like ghost sounds and stuff. That would be awesome if that was playing in the background.
I know. Yeah, this could be a good party, I'm glad everybody can join us over here for the Retro Blood, and I cannot wait to talk about this movie. I mean, is there more of a fun Halloween party movie than this? I mean, if there is, I would like to see it, because this pretty much checks all the boxes when it comes to like 80s horror films for me. You know what I mean? Like,
for you, I would say that for you. Like this seems like a James Kline movie for sure. It's very late 80s horror.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd seen this before. I knew a lot about it, so it's one of those things where I know so much about it that I'm not sure if I've actually watched it, but I have now, so we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, we are, because we're going to be celebrating this fucking Halloween episode. Fantastic. But before we get going, I have one very important question to ask you, Allison, and the audience wants to know as well, too. What are we drinking tonight, brother? What are you bringing? What are you bringing to the party?
What I bring to the party? So I stopped off and got me a nice 12-pack the Malty 12 pack from Green Man Brewery.
Let's go.
Locally here. So it has their more malty dark beers. So it's got an ESB and it's got the Green Man Porter. So I'm about to be breaking into a Green Man Porter here in a couple of minutes.
Can we hear the pop? Can we hear the pop?
Yeah, you want to hear the pop? Here we go. Green Man Porter.
Fuck yeah. Like that sound, brother. Sounds good. Yeah,
All right, what do you got?
So, okay, I found this one at the Ingles over here. It's an Oktoberfest. Y'all know I like my Oktoberfest if you've been following along every episode. And this one's from the, was it Applicate? I'm not Applicate. It's from, let's see, Appalachian Mountain Brewery.
Yep.
Yeah, the Von Watsunder Wharf Oktoberfest. Probably fucked that one up. So, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's not too bad. It's not my favorite one. But it's okay so far. So I'll be drinking that all night over here. You know who likes Oktoberfest?
Who?
Is our boy Sal. He told me before he got impaled. He told me that he was a big fan of Oktoberfest. And he was still waiting to fuck that Judy. So maybe one day I'll get it.
Maybe one day I'll get there.
But let's get this going. Let's get this ride going because I really want to get to the review of this one. So we got a little bit of going on when it comes to the history segment. I know Alison, you have something. I have something as well too. They might match up. We'll see. But so every Retro Blood episode, we talk about what was going on in the world of metal music and pro wrestling, brother. And both of those genres like the party, just like we are. Okay? And you both know they both like drinking beer, just like us. So that's why we talk about it, brother. There's some, you didn't get that much beer in this one. It looks like a bunch of, we'll talk about it, but like it looks like she just stole like 2 beers.
Yeah.
But I think our boy Stooge, he's the one that brought everything. So this one had like a soft release, probably which we're going to be talking about.
In Detroit?
In Detroit, yes. So the movie came out September 9th, 1988, which is weird because... So there's this documentary that I watched online because I got the 4K Night of the Demons, the box set. Bro, I love this movie. I told you, man. I go hardcore.
That's committed.
So this box set, Allison, has like the Night of the Demons.
Oh, you bought a 4K box set.
Well, it doesn't really in the box set, but it's basically like the Shout Factory released, like you can get Night of the Demons 1, 2, and 3. And you can buy them together. They're not like in a box set together. The only one that has the 4K scan is Night of the Demons original. The other two don't have the 4K scan, but you can buy them all together. And not only do you get that, but I just cheers my microphone. You can tell we're gonna be a little drunk on this episode. So
it's gonna be a good one. Cheers.
So yeah, cheers your microphone, motherfucker. So like this box set, or this, I call it a box set, but it's basically a collection. It comes with the movie posters for all 3 of the films as well too. Plus it comes with like a special like sleeve when it comes to like new designs of the the sleeve. You could put them all. So, and then it comes with a bunch of other like little stuff which I totally loved. I couldn't wait to get that to watch it for this episode. But when I was watching it, we'll talk a little bit about the history segment, but the writer guy, Joe Augustine, they have a little special interview about how the whole Night of the Demons was made and everything. And I swear he said the release was in November. So I was like, fuck, I was a little drinking watching this movie, so I didn't like catch that. And I tried to watch it tonight when I got home before the doing the show, but I couldn't because I got stuck in traffic and bullshit like that. But everywhere I looked online, it said this movie came out in September. Okay? So, but in his interview, it looked like it came out in November. But I was like, I might have to I'll recheck that again. You know what I mean? But, and then if it is, I'll say it on like the next episode or whatever. But anyway, we are going to use the September release date of September 9th, 1988. I found a couple of little good stuff. Alison, I know you did, but I think some of my stuff might trip you. So I got September 7th, 1988, brother. Clash of the Champions 3. Okay. So, right before WCW is getting down to the shitter, we're going to be in the Civic Center in Albany, Georgia. All right. So we got about 3,700 people in attendance to see this. And we talked about some Clash shows before. Okay. Where it's basically, it's kind of like the Battle of the Belts, but if the Battle of the Belts was good, like nowadays. You know what I mean? It's like
Battle of the Belts should be like this.
It's basically a WCW pay-per-view, but it's like live on TV for free. So it's kind of like a special, which apparently the SmackDown, how it's SmackDown's moving to USA next year. Apparently, not only they're doing that, but they're also going to be adding 2 specials as well. So maybe we'll have the Clash come back. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool. I have a feeling they're going to add back a Saturday night show, but I don't know that.
They're like, hey, fuck you, Collision. We're gonna fuck you guys too, brother.
Yeah, Saturday night's main event, 8 to 10.
Yeah, so me and Alison are busy men because we were doing all of our research on Night of the Demons. We were seeing every aspect of the Hall House. So I didn't get to watch this whole show live. Even that'd be kind of a fun little side, podcast, talk about all the clashes and stuff. But I'll just talk about some of the main matches that happened over here. So, and this does kind of like, kind of close to what we talked about last week, but except that one was 1989. This one's 1988. So we've already had the sale to WCW because I believe that happened in August of 1988. So we're freshly.
It would have just happened.
Yeah, so we're freshly there. We still got some stuff in the works, brother. But check out this match. So we have in the middle of the card, Dusty Rhodes defeated Kevin Sullivan. That'd be an interesting match.
That's not even your main event.
It's not even your main event.
That would be cool.
Yeah, well, Gary Hart was there too, sneaking around, brother. So that's a very interesting match. I'm pretty sure they fought each other a lot of times before, Dusty Rhodes and Kevin Sullivan. But that seems like a very good feud there. They seem like they would go pretty hard with each other. So another one is an interesting one. Ricky Morton in a singles match. Ooh, rare. This is probably when Robert Gibson wasn't around. He defeated...
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, he defeated Ivan Koloff with Powell Jones, brother, in a Russian chain match. Allison, how many Russian chains matches have you been in, brother?
Have I been in?
Yeah. Who did you ever beat? Zero.
I never beat anyone in the Russian chain match. Fuck. Never.
Do you think Do you think I could have had a Russian chain match with Susan?
Yeah, but you would have lost.
Yeah, no. Fuck, that'd have been a great match, though.
I always wondered about the Russian chain match because is it why is it particularly Russian?
Well, it's red.
Like the chain is red?
I have no idea.
I've always wondered that. Why is a chain a particularly Russian thing?
Well, it's probably because there's a Russian in there. All right.
Well, there's a Russian. So, technically, any kind of match is a Russian match if you have one of the Koloffs in there. But
all right, let me see if I can get a picture of this one. A Russian chain match. Okay, there's no. Let's see. Because I'd be at least a picture of it or something. Tell me where's Siri when you need her? Tell me what a Russian chain match is. That'd be nice. I like how I put Russian chain match, and it came up with an article saying, analyze what Russian chain match stipulation adds to John Cena versus Rusev. When the fuck did they have a Russian chain match?
I don't know. Neither one of them are really Russian. Well, yeah. I guess Rusev was pretending to be Russian.
So it says the Russian chain match is in the same family. Yeah. Has the strap match, the dog collar match, and the Texas bull rope match, and any other contest where the two warriors are tied together. So
yeah, it's more like a dog collar match.
Yeah, but it's a dog collar match. But we're gonna, since there's a Russian in there, it's the Russian chain, brother. Okay, so get it straight. Okay,
get it straight. Yeah, I gotta figure out my my ethnic stipulations.
So the next match, we have the main event of the Clash of Champions. Pretty good match here. Our boy Sting, all right, is back, brother. He would have fit perfectly in this movie. Now the Demon Sting, but his little buzz cut,
Yes.
except he would have been like fucking way huger than everybody. All right, that's that cute boy that Susan was looking for, with Sting, brother. He never showed up
With
though.
Sting.
So Sting defeated Barry Windham by disqualification in an NWA United States Championship heavyweight match. So, I can see that kind of nowadays where they can have like a clash and they can have Gunther, you know what I mean, headline it
Yeah.
in a good old match. So that's kind of like
Yeah,
what they were
well,
doing here.
Right, and then they could have Gunther lose by DQ because they've already screwed up his undefeated streak.
Well, kind of. I mean, he lost by count out. So.
But that's still a loss, though.
Yeah.
He's now they can say he's never been pinned or tapped out, which is true. But he hadn't been beaten by anybody ever, I don't think. And then he got counted out.
Well, it happens. You know what I mean?
Happens.
And like
Yeah, you could have him lose
Sting,
by DQ.
yeah. And Barry Windham, he probably just got too, anxious, so he just lost by DQ. You know what I mean? You get a
Yeah,
little
he probably
anxious.
just beat Sting with a chair, if I had to guess.
And I'm pretty sure this is when Barry Windham, like we talked about, I'm pretty sure it was on the Jason number 7, where Barry Windham turned heel and he joined the Four Horsemen. This is during that time period. So that's why Barry Windham came out with J.J. Dillon. So, and like I was saying on that episode, too, everybody check it out in the archives, that Barry Windham, he's always looked fondly upon being part of the Four Horsemen. He actually took the people, a lot of wrestling fans and a lot of like wrestling historians actually really like this era of the Four Horsemen with Barry Windham in it.
I mean, personally, I do. And one thing that I'm learning as we're doing this show, because, I really just have those memories, right? Of, like I've talked about it a bunch of times, where I just have those memories of watching Crockett television. And if you had asked me before we started doing this show, if I was still watching wrestling in 1988 or 89, I would have told you no. But we had this conversation earlier in one of the years that we've been doing this show where I remember Barry Windham being in the Four Horsemen, but I don't remember Lex Luger being in the Four Horsemen.
Yes.
So I must have been watching wrestling. I mean, I must have still been watching wrestling in '88.
Well,
so,
you might have like stopped and then maybe saw it again. That happens.
Maybe, yeah. Because it's weird the things I remember and the things I don't.
Yeah, because I've been watching wrestling pretty much nonstop since like 1998. Okay, and we're like, we're in. And we're in 2023 right now, brother. Not 1988, even though I wish I was in 1998 right now. Motherfucker,
Cool.
If I was in 1988 right now, this would be wild.
Or even 1998.
Yes.
And that would have been some good wrestling too.
So there's been years where I know I was watching wrestling, but I can't remember the the Bastion Brothers. I don't fucking know what they did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've been watching for so long, you probably just forgot,
Maybe, yeah. I probably just forgot. But, I know there over the years, I have stopped watching it and come back. Because, like, most of probably CM Punk's run in WWE, I'd never watched.
Yeah.
I kind of stopped watching it around 2011 up until probably 15, 16 maybe.
Yeah.
But then even then I wasn't really watching WWE very much. I was still just watching like Ring of Honor and stuff like that.
Well, you know what you need to do, Alison? You gotta get
Go back
yourself.
and watch it.
You gotta go get yourself the peacock, and relive all the glorious memories from.
Well, I got the Peacock. I don't know if I want to watch those 2010s memories or not, but we'll see. Was Eugene still on the show at that point?
No, I think he was like 08, I believe.
Oh yeah,
07 or 08, I believe. I could be wrong. So
yeah,
but not a bad
Anyway.
Clash show. I always loved those Clash shows. Super exciting. During that particular period. You know what I mean? So, I'm pretty sure the reason they created we talked about this before. Was to counter program a lot of WWF stuff. So
yeah, I was about to mention that. Wasn't it WrestleMania? or no, or was it
this one wasn't
Survivor Series?
but
No. But the Clash one wasn't it to counteract WrestleMania?
Yes, it was a counteract. WrestleMania 5,
yeah.
I believe. And the reason they did that is because Vince McMahon put on Survivor Series to counter Starrcade. So the war is on, even though like at this particular time, the F is taken over, brother, and the F would pretty much win. Even though like I know we're getting off topic here. It's probably because I'm drinking, but
Probably.
And then after this we'll go on to some of the music stuff. But okay, so to me, if you watch like the '90s WCW, like compared to like the early 90s WCW to the early 90s WWF, there comes a point where this early 90s WCW is way better. Like just way fucking better. And it was the era where Vince McMahon pretty much like was getting rid of all the older talent, you know what I mean? And he was on the trial 94, I would say, I guess that's around there, 93, 94. Like WCW is like in-ring work was way better than the F's work. So it's pretty amazing that the F like stayed, hot until WCW got really hot with Hogan turning heel and everything. So it's very interesting to see how it all happened. And during like over here, like even though Crockett was strong and definitely was a top promotion in the United States in the 80s, that fucking WWF was just too big, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, WWF was, it's just like it always was. They were superheroes. They were larger than life. They were just like cartoony characters, where WCW was still very real. It was just two guys fighting, mostly. Yeah. You didn't have, what's the bird that hatched out of the egg?
Yeah,
For WWF.
fuck. Gobbledygooker, brother.
There's no gobbledygooker and WCW.
Well, there was. Later on there would be.
Later on there would be things like that. Yeah, after they
the
went
Dings or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ninja Turtles. Or was that? That was the F. Whatever. Fuck it, brother. Fuck Ninja Turtles. We're gonna talk about some tits here soon. Anyway, everybody. Speaking of demons and possession, and tits and beer. Check out this medal I got going on for everybody that came out September 13th, 1988.
Ooh, I know what you're going to say.
And this band goes perfect for this movie. Okay? And I'm talking about the one and only, the King Diamond has returned to the Retro Blade.
Oh, yeah.
Because we are talking about the album they put out, Them. Okay? And I got to be honest with you, for a second. I like King Diamond. The guy's cool. The visuals of King Diamond is great. The music videos are fantastic. I love it. He does the whole creepy, horror movie goth stuff really well. Yeah. But I gotta be honest with you, like I wasn't really digging this album that much. This one.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I liked the first two tracks, Out of the Asylum and Welcome Home. But then other than that, like once it got kind of past that, I was like, okay. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can keep doing it screaming the whole time.
Well, I mean, you either have to like that or not. I mean, you're either into metal or you're not if you're listening to King Diamond. But it's like King Diamond is his solo albums are like it's almost like a movie. Like it's really you can't just put on one King Diamond song and say I'm just going to listen to the song. Like it's like it takes you on a journey.
Yeah.
And Them tells a story, and not that you can understand any fucking thing he's saying. I guess you can read the lyrics, but it's like a journey. So it's like it's hard to like just immediately get into it, but like it just takes you on this long like story, and then you get to a conclusion. But I love this album. I think Them is one of his best albums.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite albums.
I was like in the beginning of it. It just maybe, I'm kind of weird though. Like I always have to I listen to an album and at first like, I don't know what it is. It's like, I try it's like, I don't like it at first. Almost any album I hear. And then I give it some time and then I end up loving it. Is that weird? It's kind of weird, huh?
No, I mean, I think that good music is like that. I think that really good music you maybe not necessarily get the first time you listen to it.
You got to be in the right mood. You know what I mean? You got to be like the right mood. You got to go with the right stuff. You know, because like for this podcast, for the longest time, I didn't even listen to Iron Maiden. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They started talking to him about them all the time, and I listened to them. I was like, they know how to play their gimmicks. But then, after a while, I gave it some listening to, and I was like, okay, I found a couple of songs that I like that I can really get into on my own. So it just takes a while.
Which you tend to like more of the gimmicky horror movie gothy type stuff.
Well, yeah, brother. I just told you Night of the Demons is one of my fucking favorite movies that we're doing over here.
Exactly. Right. That's a perfect example. But like, like you like bands like God, like that band's name just left me. The band that we went to see in Greensboro.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, I can't even say their name.
That band.
Yeah.
With the face paint and the gimmicks, and you kind of that Victorian kind of goth stuff. You kind of like that, which is surprising that you wouldn't like them because that King Diamond album is like full of that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, like I said, I told you, when we talked about King Diamond in the past, I do like a lot of this stuff, and I do like Merciful Fate a lot. It just, maybe at the time I was listening to this, I was like, I don't know if this one's my favorite one that he does, this album. But it's still fun, though. I still had a good time listening to it.
Yes. It is a great album. And hopefully he'll tour soon because he's supposed to be doing a new album. And we can go see King Diamond and we can do a show from the road.
That'd be pretty wild. Yeah, because I've never seen King Diamond before, but I bet his show would be fucking awesome. So, and like I was saying, like this album, I mean, imagine like watching Night of the Demons and a couple of days later listening to this. I mean, they pretty much like merged together like a big like... fucking pumpkin pie. You know what I mean? Just fucking
pumpkin pie.
You know what I mean?
I love
you put little pecans on your pumpkin pie. Good to go, brother.
Love it. Yeah, good to go.
So we're moving this on because this is the Halloween party. Okay, and I'm about to bob for some apples with some razor blades in them right now.
Oh,
and we're gonna talk about who booked this shit, brother. Okay, when it comes to Night of the Demons. So there's not a whole lot like written down about Night of the Demons because there really wasn't like a whole lot of like drama backstage or any kind of like, big like script back and forth. We don't have a bunch, on the Friday movies, we're talking about all kinds of shit. Like people had this idea, people had that idea, they're rewriting this or bringing it back because of money. No. I mean, it's pretty simple production when it comes to Night of the Demons. So our writer is the guy I mentioned earlier, Joe Augustine. He's the one that wrote the Night of the Demons script, okay? And pretty much what he did was he wanted to break into the film industry. And I think this is pretty, we talked about this before, Alison. I think this is like something that's like a pretty, cool thing in my view. It's a cool thing where, you're trying to break into an industry and we're going to go for what's hot at the time. And of course, like, when it comes to horror movies around the 80s, they were super hot. Like he was saying, there was like, just in 1988 alone, he said there was over like 96 fucking horror movies made. And I'm just like, when he said that, I was like, well, fuck, bro, we pretty much got a podcast forever. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's just one fucking year. So the reason he made a horror movie, you know what I mean? Because, he liked the genre and everything, but he also wanted to break into Hollywood, and that was the easiest way to do it. Because horror movies are kind of like the it's kind of like the reality show business. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't cost a lot of money to make a horror movie, and you get a big return on them. Okay,
right. That's why, like I've always said, like hardly any horror movie in history has ever lost money because they're so cheap to make.
Yeah,
that even if they just have a modest turnout at the theater, they're going to make their money back.
Exactly. So basically, when he wrote this script, he was shopping it around a little bit, and he had a couple people that he wanted to sell the script to, like there was his friends that he knew, but his agent kind of denied him a little bit. Like I guess they were trying to find like the most money, because back then not only did the actors have an agent, but I guess the writers had an agent too. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm sure they do.
get
I'm
you
sure
the-
they all
yeah.
have agents. Yeah.
So they eventually sold the movie rights to International Film Marketing. And that was the distributor. And so they started working on the film like right away around like I think he said he wrote it in 1985 and he started working on it around like 1986, 1987. When they start filming everything.
Yeah.
Apparently it only took like well the scenes in the house that they got. So they used the house. It was he said he got pretty lucky about the house that they used for the Hall house. It was actually a real house that they used. Like what we're seeing is a real house. Like they didn't build it or nothing. They didn't like built it on the stage or anything. They found it in Los Angeles, and they said the house was on the same strip as some of the as like supermarkets and stuff were on the same kind of like strip area, and they couldn't tear down the house at that particular time because it was marked as a historian place. It was like a historic place. So he said they got to rent it out for about like a month or a month and a half. They got to rent it out, and he said it was really cool because he said like the space around the house was so big that they could park their production trucks and all these other cars around there and just leave them there. So they didn't have to like take like 3 or 4 hours to set up production each time. Like basically they would just walk right in, everything would be there. And like, you know, for filmmaking, that is super rare because half the time when you're doing fucking film production, it's all about the setup before you can actually even shoot. So
yeah, half your day is just setting stuff up.
Yeah. So they got super lucky when it comes to that. And like, of course, he was trying to look for something like that too, because, you know, it would help out the cost. Because you got to think about it, you know, when you have like a filming location, you got to bring trucks out there. You got to bring the crew out there. You got to put them up for the night. You got to have the food there. You got to have this, and this. It's like, it's a lot that adds up, you know, but if you're already established there, you can just walk right in, get some makeup on, good to go. So
exactly. And I was actually going to ask you what you knew about the house, because some scenes, like the scene where they first pull up to the house,
yeah,
and it shows it full frame, it looks like a model. So like it looks like the house itself was a model, and then they just mocked up a front. Yeah, like when they're standing on the wall. I guarantee you that wall was a mock-up. Like they probably put that.
No, he actually like, no. He actually said that wall was there. House. It was part of the house.
Oh, really?
Because he said the original idea he had was that there was going to be like these trees, and these trees had like some like powers on them, and those would be the powers that were like blocking the demons in. But he said because there was a fucking brick wall there already established, he was like, well, let's just fucking write that in. I'm just going to put this stream under there, under the wall.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the wall was over there, brother. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like there might have been some film scenes that are maybe like, you know, mocked up a little bit, but pretty much majority of the whole house parts were all that whole property, which is pretty amazing.
Okay. That is pretty cool.
So, but you know, unfortunately, I think it was like after number 2 or something like that, they actually ended up tearing down the house that this one was filmed in, because I don't think they used it for number 3. But
okay, so in the other movies, they go back to the same house again.
I don't quote me on that, because the number two does have a little bit of an interesting backstory on it, and I do want to do those movies sometimes. We might have to say those for the lights out, because they all have it in the 90s. But basically, number 2 is like this. He got this script from a friend, and he wrote this script for that. And I think they might have used the house, but I'm not exactly sure. But I know in number 3, they didn't have access to the house. And number 3 was actually written by the director of this film, Kevin S. Tenney. And our boy Kevin, he is known for doing the film Witchboard. You ever heard of Witchboard there, Alison?
Yep, I love Witchboard. We're going to do it on the show one day.
Yeah, he did Witchboard 1 and he did Witchboard 2, brother. And he's actually...
And he also...
Go ahead.
Because he also did Witch Trap, which is a completely different movie about witches.
Well, maybe when the board did something, he can now trap him. Nothing. Okay.
Potentially, yes. Witchboard. Yeah, we'll do the Witchboard movies. We'll do a Witch Month or something and do the Witchboard movies.
Too bad we can't do Pinocchio's Revenge.
Yeah, I know. It's sad. Classic. That one is
fucking wild. So a couple other stuff about this film that it's like blatantly obvious when you're watching this shit. You know what I mean? It's like, could we take anything more from Evil Dead? You know what I mean?
It's very Evil Dead like.
Yes,
for sure.
So, but the director, the writer, he was very honest about it. It's like, yeah, he's like, he got his inspiration from 3 films. The first one was The Exorcist, okay, because of all the demonic possession.
Okay.
Number 2 was obviously Evil Dead because of the way they did the whole demons and how they infested people's bodies. And I was surprised, and I was like, no shit. The third one was Friday the 13th that we just did on the Retro Blood. And that one was...
I don't see that at all.
Okay, I don't either, but how he explained it was like, okay, Friday the 13th had a centralized area where all teenagers got killed. So that's where he got that idea.
But his movie has a centralized area because that's what they could afford.
Yeah.
Like they could afford one location, so that's what they had.
Yeah.
Just like in Friday the 13th.
Yes, so that's what he was going for. So to me, like this stretch, it was a little bit of a stretch with the Friday the 13th because if you think about it, I guess it was just the teenager part. That's probably what it was, the teenager part. Okay, so he also was saying too that there's some when his original script was a semi different than what we saw on the film on the screen, of course, because of some of the productions. Changed up a couple things, and he said like his original script was like a little bit more less campy than this movie was. I was like, bro, it's like, which part did you take out? Was it the sour apples part? Like, what the hell are you talking about less campy? And apparently the character Max, the guy who was the doctor one fucking on that Asian girl. You know what I mean? Apparently he was supposed to be like way hardcore. Like he was supposed to be like this like rich kid that hated his dad, and he had a fucking sack of drugs, like heroin, cocaine, and shit. And I was like, damn. He's like, yeah, they didn't really like that too much, so we had to cut that part out. I was like, just imagine. Okay, just imagine.
Wow. Yeah. So basically, yeah, because that's what I kind of took out of this, like not knowing anything about how this movie was made, is that they wanted to make it campy and silly.
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of like this movie's just like kind of really surface level. Like there's nothing to think about in it. Like it's just
I was thinking about a lot.
It's just something it's just something you can just put on and you can watch it, but you don't really have to think about anything. It just kind of goes.
I was like, how am I gonna get this Angela girl to party with me? That's what I was thinking.
Well, no, it's true. Good point.
So, but so the movie, at the beginning, you know what I mean? I think this movie over time, like, gained a lot more popularity, like a lot of other films do. You know what I mean? Because probably at this time when it came out, people were like, it's just another horror movie and stuff. But, the cool thing about this one, though, is at least the Joe guy, he wasn't just going for like a normal slasher in the 80s. You know what I mean? At least he was bringing back some of the demon stuff. That we talked about. And I do like you gotta mix it around. Like we just did fucking 8 episodes about a slasher, Jason.
Yeah, we did 2 months of slasher movies.
Okay. So it's nice to like find something else. You know what I mean? Like it's nice to go down to like something different than like just a normal slasher. Yeah.
Right, because you can say what you will about this movie, but yeah, he could have just made a simple slasher movie and not had to have any makeup really.
Yeah.
And made it probably cheaper than he even made this movie. And, everything would have been cool and he would have made money off of it. But he didn't. He wanted to do this demonic possession movie, which is kind of cool. It's just like, if you compare it to Evil Dead, it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like Evil Dead's a way better movie than this. Demons 1 and 2 are way better movies than this. But for what it is, I mean, it's entertaining. It's a cult classic. It's
like I was saying,
a cult classic.
I did not say this is my favorite movie of all time. I said this is my favorite Halloween party movie of all time.
I see. So now we have stipulations.
You got to hear my words, brother,
enough.
because demon. All know I love Demons 1 and Demons, Evil Dead. I love all those shit, and those are more well produced movies. But when it comes to Halloween, it comes to dressing up, it comes to drinking beer, cocaine, and sex, brother. You can't beat none of the demons. I love it.
No, you're right.
Speaking of that, let's get into it, brother. Let's get into the full review on this Halloween edition of the Retro Blood, talking Night of the Demons.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, I like that beer. There you go.
Still going.
Still going.
A full moon. A spooky, deserted mansion. Halloween night.
All right, dudes. And dudesses. Let's party!
10 kids. All they want to do is raise a little hell. Now, as long as they live, they'll wonder what's gotten into them. Night of the Demons. Party till you drop.
Okay, do you need no breaks? Or
No,
we
let's
good?
just try. Let's just try and go through it.
Yeah, we'll be good. All right, so actually, this movie is pretty interesting because our intro is actually an animated intro. But I think it's
love
super.
this.
Yeah, I thought it was super cool for the time period. You know what I mean? Because you don't really see that. You mostly will see like a blank screen, maybe some photos, maybe some, interesting text on there and stuff. But I actually thought this one was pretty cool about showing like the whole like animation, demons flying around, haunted houses, shit going on. I thought it was super sweet. So
Yeah, very creep show like, I thought.
yeah, definitely around there. So I thought that was cool. So, well, this movie was wild. Okay. So they show a pumpkin on this guy's car. This guy's like driving super fast. Like, I want to know how he did that. Like, did he like nail gun the pumpkin to the car? Did he?
I don't think that would have worked.
Did he fucking hammer it to the car? Like, I don't know how this works.
Pumpkins are pretty soft. Pumpkins are pretty soft. I have no idea how he attached that pumpkin to the car.
Well, apparently our boy Stooge. That's his name, Stooge.
Stooge. With the pig mask.
He kind of reminded me of
Nose, yeah.
Ralph from WCW. Remember he used to come out with Jericho? You don't remember that?
Yeah.
The fat Ralph?
No, I remember that. I guess I could kind of see
that's
that.
That's what I picture Stooge like when he like aged in the 90s. That's what he looked like. So Ralph is there with Roger, okay, and then Helen's Helen. Okay, so Helen, it's not his girlfriend, it's Helen. Okay, so basically we have a car full of 3 kids, and you could tell they're driving somewhere. And we have Stooge is like this guy with the pig nose on. Helen is right beside the seat, and then Roger was in the back. And I swear the first fucking line this Stooge guy said, or maybe it wasn't the first line, maybe it was the second, because he's drinking a beer, brother, all right? Ready to party, rock and roll? Like, he's already ready to go. Yep. Throws a beer out the fucking window. And then he's like, hey, bitch, take the wheel. I was like, damn, we're starting off hot here, brother. Okay, I see. I was like, damn, okay. So Helen takes the wheel so this guy can moon an old guy. But he didn't really moon him. He just like showed him his like red underwear.
Yeah, he didn't pull his pull his underwear down. To really moon somebody, you gotta be bare ass.
Yeah. So he showed the old geezer walking around that they all call him. He actually has a name. His name is what was his name? Oh, they just called him Old Man. His name was Old Man. I like it.
Oh, Old Man.
So this guy, old man, like telling the kids, like, "Oh, go, fucking kids, piss off, you fucking kids, And then he gets scared by this other kid showing him a rat, which we meet that this character is going to be named Sal, and we'll get to him pretty soon. And then the old guy's like, "You fucking asshole." It's like, "Whatever, man. Whatever, old guy. Don't let your pacemaker go off." And then the old guy drops all this fucking shit on the ground. And he's picking up. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, did you see what he was carrying though?
Yeah, he was carrying apples and he was carrying razor blades.
Exactly. You know what that means?
That means he is ready to fuck up kids' nights for trick or treating.
Exactly. That means he hates trick or treaters, which means he hates Halloween. So fuck him.
Yeah, fuck that guy, brother. This is
yeah.
So he is like the Scrooge of our story, I guess.
Exactly.
And then we have this part was pretty wild. Then we had Jody. She showed up right behind him, and she was trying to help him out a little bit. And then our old man just like, "Get your hands off me, you fucking whore!" I was like, "Damn, bro, this is only the first 5 minutes of this movie."
Yeah. What a terrible person this guy is.
And then she says, "I don't want to help you out anyway." And he's like, "Oh, you fucking kids suck. I hate all you kids." And he's like, "I'm gonna get you all tonight." And that's when we can see they actually has apples and razor blades.
Yeah.
So, because during this, we actually talked about this on our Halloween 2 episode going back to last year.
So bring that up.
About the fucking, because remember that kid who went to the hospital, he ate an apple. Maybe he ate an apple from this guy. You know what I
mean? Maybe he went to this guy's house.
Are you telling me that Night of the Demons and Halloween 2 are connected?
In the same universe. Yeah, they're in the same universe.
Imagine Loomis in this fucking movie.
Yeah,
I would have exploded
6 times.
I would have. I would have exploded if he was in this movie.
Yeah, but this was a big deal at the time. Like there was a lot of like talk about like razor blades and apples and candy having needles in it and stuff like that.
Yeah, you don't really hear too much of that.
All that's an urban legend. Right, because now people don't believe that anymore.
Yeah, now they just put fentanyl in it.
Yeah, right. They just put fentanyl in it now.
Yeah.
But all of it was an urban legend. There's never been any proof of any of that shit actually happening.
Yeah, which is crazy. That's a whole interesting like story. We need to like talk about long form or something, because I'm gonna do some more research about that, because it is a very interesting like legend. I want to see if anybody has like documents of that happening. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure.
I have a story that we could talk about when we do the show that you're talking about now, but there is a somewhat of a true story based on that, but there's been no documentation of like trick-or-treaters actually dying from razor blades and candy or anything. But yeah, we can do a show on that, and then a show on the satanic panic of the 1980s. Those would be 2 awesome specials.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool little iTunes stuff. Hope you remember it, because this is the Halloween episode, brother, because we're drinking heavily. Hope you remember all this. Gotta go back.
Gotta get back to it. Yeah.
So our girl Judy, she is looking for her date for the night, Jay. Mm-hmm. So she goes back home. She's looking for Jay and everything, right? Yeah. And so she got a call from Sal earlier, but then she calls up Jay, and basically the whole thing is basically Jay is telling her, like, "Listen, we got a party going on, okay? And I don't want to go to the dance anymore. So we had this party going on. Dances are lame anyway. All right.
Yeah.
So there's this party going on, and I want you to come with me." It's like, okay, well, who would put on this party? All right. And then he's all like, "Well, that girl Angela." She's like, "Angela? You mean that creepy like goth chick in the back of the English class?" He's like, "Yeah, her. She's putting on a party and stuff
at the crematorium."
Yeah, it's just like, well, no, he doesn't say that yet.
Oh, right, he doesn't say it yet, but that's where it is.
So she's like, he's like, "Oh no, like, I was just thinking, like, Angela, this is Halloween, man. This is like her Christmas. You know what I mean? So that's why I want to go to her party." And she's like, "Okay." And then Judy says something about her, like, "Oh, I can't wait to meet her weird parents." She's like, "Well, about that. It's actually going to be at the Hall House." She's like, "The Hall House." So apparently, like, there's like this house in this particular neighborhood that all the kids know about, and it's supposed to be like, one of those haunted not a haunted house like you go to nowadays, but a house you don't go to. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then he's like, okay, I'll be there in 20 minutes. And then during this though, our girl Judy, she's like getting changed, and we can see her bare ass for a little bit.
Yeah, which was one of the. Yeah, I mean, you could clearly tell this was written into the movie to show her bare ass.
So we got to get when it comes to 18 to 34 male, brother, you got my money.
Gotta have that.
Okay, you got my money there. So now she's in her like bra and shit. You know what I mean? Looking at her tits. And then her brother comes out, Billy, scares her ass. Yep. He's like, "Hey, sis, you got big tits. You're gonna need a fucking what do you say? You're gonna need a fucking brace or something for that." And I was like, "Damn, okay,
yeah,
you're pretty wild."
Getting hardcore.
I think he said something about like you won't be able to tie your shoes or something because your tits will be so big you can't look at your shoes. I was like, you should see some of the bitches online right now. I can't say that. So anyway.
All right. Calm it down. Rein it in a little bit.
That's what I do, man. This is a Halloween episode. I gotta go crazy.
That's true.
Then Billy hits the door. Okay, so this is when we see Sal. So Sal is apparently Judy's ex-boyfriend or something, or they dated for a little bit. And Sal basically wants to talk to her. They go back and forth a little bit, and eventually Sal gives Billy $1, and he tells him where the party is going to be at. Okay, which is going to be the Hall House. Okay, and at first he doesn't believe it, but he's like, all right. So, and he takes the Halloween mask with him. So now you get one of my favorite scenes, which is probably one of the famous scenes in this film. One of the famous films. We see this girl in a pink dress and pink panties just bending over, brother. Okay? And then the cash. Did you see the cash register guy's faces?
Well, she's like bending over she's clearly just bending over just to see what he would do, right? She's doing it to provoke him. But
both of them. There's two cashier guys. Yeah. No, it wasn't even a soda, bro. She was bending over next to like the Tide laundry.
Oh, right. Right. Okay.
So apparently this gas station has like Tide laundry. You can get, detergent there. And basically she's doing this because of Angela. She's there. Angela's kind of like the gothic chick. She is like all dressed in black.
Yes.
She basically looks like somebody from The Cure. All right. And she
like a goth girl.
Yeah. She is like fucking grabbing the most random shit. It was like 2 bottles of like, it looked like beer, but it could have been wine, some candy, some cookies, and some tissue paper. All right. Mm-hmm. And then she gives a good old wink to the pink dress, which we're going to find out her name is Susie. Okay. And Susie's played by one of our favorites when it comes to 80s horror girls. All right.
Linnea Quigley. Yeah.
Linnea Quigley, yes. Which I've actually go ahead. Which I actually met.
You have met her, but she's supposed to be playing a teenager in this movie. She's like Linnea Quigley was like 30 when this movie was made.
Yeah, brother. She's a teenager. She's probably 18 at this time.
A 30-year-old teenager. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and she's been in a ton of movies we already reviewed. She was in Silent Night, Deadly Night for a little bit, and she's been in Return of the Living Dead. And that's probably her most famous film was probably Return of the Living Dead. And that's actually how she got hired for this job, was from her performance in Return of the Living Dead. So after that, they're done like stealing stuff and they're about to leave. And we had to do one more last distraction. So our girl, Susie, says, "Hey, boys, you guys have any sour balls?" And they're like, "Yes, we do." It's like, "Oh, that's probably why you don't get a lot of BJs." Ooh. I was like, this movie's after my own heart. All right? That was such a corny line, but I loved it. Fucking loved it. And her character is, she always has to be putting on like makeup, like lipstick and stuff, the Susan character. And Angela's like, why are you putting on so much makeup? She's like, well, I'm getting ready for all the hot boys who are going to be at this party. You promised me hot boys, right? And she's like, yes, I do. And then she's like, okay. And then she's like, yeah, I'm going to scare the shit off all these hot boys at the party. So Susan wants to fuck all the boys. Angela wants to scare them all. Got all that?
Mm-hmm. Got it.
So now we have Jay. He has come now to pick up Judy. Okay. And Well, this kid was like fucking on fire. I'm surprised we didn't get more of him in this movie. So Jay's like, hey, I really like your sister. She's really nice and stuff. He's like, don't bullshit me, man. You only like her because of her big tatas. And then the mom comes out, right, with some burnt fucking chocolate. It's like, nah, I don't want that. I want to watch my figure. And she's like, well, you're fucking, like, these jokes they keep going. And she's like, well, you don't need to watch your figure. You're skinny. He's like, nah, I don't want none. And then the sister comes out, and the Judy's like, oh, you didn't dress up? All right. And then the Billy just rips his ass, saying like, yeah, he came up as a fucking, I didn't write down what he said. But he's like, he came out like a fucking asshole or something like that. And he calls her like the fucking Bride of Frankenstein. So,
which is always like the one like goth girl insult, right?
Yeah.
You can either call it the Bride of Frankenstein or the Bride of Dracula, and they usually don't look like either.
Yeah. Well, Maybe Judy, she's all dressed up like fucking Little House on the Prairie shit going on here.
Yeah. Okay. I thought she was Alice from Alice in Wonderland.
Oh yeah. Probably was. Yeah. Yeah.
Like the blue dress.
Yeah, the blue dress.
I thought that was Alice. Yeah.
Yeah, brother, Alice. So now Judy and Jay, they're outside, and Jay, he just wants some sex right there in the front porch, bro. He is ready to fuck tonight, cause he's like kissing her. He's trying to do that like long kiss, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And she's like, no, we'll have time for this later. He's like, okay. So now we see Allison's favorite character, Stooge. He is back with his crew. And they can't figure out how to get to Angela's party because they can't read a map or the map that she gave them. So now our boy Stooge is getting all pissed off again. He calls Helen a bitch for the second time. All right. And then he takes the wheel, and then they kind of like curve out. All right. So now Judy and Jay, in Jay's Mustang, thank you, with only 2 seats in the front, and you gotta like pull the seat down, get into the back that everybody complains about. At least if you're in my fucking inner circle.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I didn't see fucking these guys complain. All right, our fucking boy Max and his girl Feeny. All right.
Yeah. My only complaint is like you're always pushed like the passenger seat's always like pushed like way up to like the dash.
Get over it, brother. We're in style.
And I'm like straight up and down, like I'm in some kind of, I feel like I'm in a straitjacket.
Yeah. I'm kind of like our boy Jay. I don't give a shit. Just get in the car. It's for my style, not your guys. So, so they get in the car, and then Max is dressed up like a doctor. Feeny, I guess she's like some sort of like aerobics dancer. I have no idea what she was trying to be. So they get picked up. So we're meeting more characters here. So we're seeing that Stooge's crew is now on the side of the road. Their tire blew out. We can see that Jay's crew comes up. They make fun of him, and they drive up to the Haw House. So we arrive at the Haw House, and now we're getting some story of what this house that they're partying at is. Mm-hmm. So apparently this house, all right, is a old, like you were saying, crematorium. It was also an old like funeral home. All right.
Yeah.
And apparently, Mr. Hall liked his. Can't believe they said this. So Mr. Hall liked his bodies more than just cremating him, implying that he fucked them all.
Right. That implies that he fucked all the bodies. Yeah.
So the legend was basically something happened where one night they all just died. Like everybody in the house all fucking died. And there was too much. Check this one out. There was too much blood to figure out who did it.
Too much blood. You can never figure
like, how does that work out? We just had, what was the house just flowing with blood like the fucking Shining or some shit? Like, what was going on?
I guess so. I guess there's just so much blood that you just cannot figure out who what blood goes.
So it was basically a mystery killer, but it killed the whole family there. And then ever since then, nobody has gone in there because it's been like, they all think it's haunted. So it's just a decayed place in their town. So, and then of course, Feeney's like, I can't believe we're going to party there. And of course, Judy's the only one that looks a little worried. Okay. So they get up to the house and they actually do some explanation here, which is kind of neat. They're like, hey, the way we can get into this abandoned house, because, most abandoned house would be log gate, You know what I mean?
You'd think
like
so.
security
you would
shit.
think so.
They're like, hey, apparently the homeowners or whoever owned the land kept putting on locks in the gate, but it kept disappearing, so they eventually gave up. So that's
So,
why
like,
they can get in there easy.
So like the ghosts, just took away.
Well, I don't really
the
understand that part because, well, actually, I guess, yeah. I was thinking like, okay, well, how are the ghosts or the spirits that we're gonna find out? How can they take off the lock if they can't go past a certain point? But I guess they can. I guess they can project with their spirit. They can actually make a gate, and they can actually take away the gate too. Okay.
Sure.
So the gate is in on it. All right, it's in on the work, brother.
Yes.
So Max has to check out the area because he heard an old urban legend. All right, and the urban legend was, oh, there actually really is running water underneath this building. Okay, and then they explain.
The stream.
Yeah, the stream. And they actually explain, well, why the fuck they build this little brick wall behind this stream? They're just like, I don't know. It's just there. So now I
think that was funny.
Yeah. Well, they basically.
Like, well, how did?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's just funny that they created. Like if it's impossible, if it's hard to build a wall on top of a stream because because the ground won't support it. It's weird that they would create that problem in their movie, but yeah.
Well, the reason they did this because of what we see at the end. Like I was telling you before,
yes.
They didn't have those magic trees that were blocking the spirits, and they only had this fucking brick wall, so they had to add it in somehow. Right. So they go into the house, and they're talking about there hasn't been a maid here. They talk about the maid dying, and then they eventually are looking around. And they see a casket just right there, okay? And then Jay's going to open up the casket, and out pouts Saul. He's there. Or Sal, he's there. He scares them all. You can see Sal and Jay kind of like eyeing each other because they both want the same girl, okay? And eventually everybody's calling Sal an asshole. I guess nobody likes him. And they're like, why did Angela invite him? And then Angela shows up with Susan. She says, I didn't. And of course, Stooge and his whole crew are there now too. And they're all ready to fucking party, brother. Let's go. We're partying out here.
Let's go. Let's party. We're ready to party too. Let's do it.
Let's do it, brother. Let me take a little swig of this beer. Partying it up.
Yep.
We're at the Hall House. You know what I mean? We got some hotties over here, brother.
Crematorium.
Got the crematorium. You know what I mean?
Got 30-year-old teenagers.
Yeah, 30-year-old teenagers going out here, brother. You know, I fucking love to be in this movie. I'd be going wild. So, we can see there's only a couple of stuff that happened during like the party scenes. We could see that Angela is kind of like doesn't really get along with that many people. They think she's kind of weird. We could see that our girl Susan, she's flirting with everybody, shaking her ass everywhere, shaking her ass in the fire, shaking her ass to everybody. We can see that our boy Jay is looking to fuck something tonight. Okay.
He is.
And they're all having a good time until the music stops. All right. Our boy Stooge didn't put enough batteries in his, what do we call that? Boombox to last the whole night, brother.
Fucking Stooge.
Fucking Stooge. Should have used the fucking Duracell. All right. What the hell? So now Angela, she wants to play games now. She wants to do some Halloween games. All right. And I'd be like, I'm all down. Everybody else wasn't down. They all want to drink and party. But she's down. She's like, well, what do you guys want to do? And they make a bunch of jokes and shit about like different games. All right. But she's all like, well, why don't we do like a seance? All right. That's what I want to do.
Ooh, that's always a good idea.
And then
right?
Feeney, with some of her lines in the movie, which she barely had any, she suggests that they do a see in the future seance, where if you stare in the mirror, you know what I mean, you can see yourself like what you look like old, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
See what your future is going to be.
You ever done that, Alison?
Nope. I don't
that.
fuck with that shit.
I do that every day when I stare myself in the mirror. I'm like, what am I gonna look like old? I was like, I'm gonna look fucking awesome.
Yeah, I don't fuck with that shit.
I'm look like The Rock.
I'll figure out. Yeah, I'm sure that's what you'll look like when you're old. But I'll figure out what I look like when I get there.
So basically first Susan, she offers up her little makeup mirror, but that's too small. We can't use that one. Okay. So Roger and Stooge decide to wander off, and eventually Stooge finds a mirror, and you can see that Roger is not too keen on this idea. We'll find out why. So they all gather around the big, creepy-looking old mirror that's randomly at the house because they got lucky. Mm-hmm. And Roger's the only one that's not near the mirror, okay? And they're all staring at it, and then Angela starts saying some of the Séance lines. They don't think it works at first, and then eventually the mirror goes black, and then we see a demon head that kind of looks like what does it look kind of like? It kind of look like a dinosaur head, you know what I mean?
Kind of, yeah.
Like a little bit of a pterodactyl head mixed in with a little bit of a demon. Look kind of cool. And the mirror just breaks all there, like, or it falls. No, sorry. What happened was when we see the demon head, Helen sees herself like old and dead, and she freaks out a little bit, and then the mirror comes crashing down. All right. And then we see this is a cool scene too, the way they shot it, where you can see all the glass, you can see all the kids like stare, like we had the camera on the glass and the kids are through the reflection of the glass, and they're all talking about the mirror coming down, making a bunch of jokes and stuff. And of course, Helen, she's all freaked out now, just like Roger is. Or Roger, they call him all kinds of different stuff. So, they also start hearing a noise too, okay? And of course, Susan thinks it's more cute boys, all right? But they hear the noise is coming from the basement. And basically what it was the furnace in the basement opens up, and the little evil demon head is there. And now we got something straight from Evil Dead. We had the Evil Dead fast up camera, all right? Like that first person view camera that Evil Dead did so much.
Yeah, they took that directly from Evil Dead.
They took a lot of shit from Evil Dead. Let's be honest here.
Yeah,
okay?
but this directly.
Yeah, this is directly. Yeah. From there. And now the Evil Dead cam has now got them to where all the kids are, and they're complaining about how it smells like rotten eggs, and it's got really cold in here. And eventually, the demon spirit goes right into Susan's mouth, brother. So, and you know what's crazy about it goes right to her first. Which is crazy about this, like, well, I guess it's kind of a franchise. There's like 4 movies. Does that count as a franchise? Or it has t-shirts and shit. But, which is crazy about it because Angela is the one to be known as, like, the main demon girl. You know what I mean? Like, she is, like, the main demon character. Which is crazy, though, because she was not the first demon character. It was actually Susan was the first demon character, which I always thought it was pretty fun there. So now you could tell, like, Susan's demeanor, like, changed a little bit. She's a little bit more serious. And, well, not really serious, but, like, she's a little bit, like, different than how she was acting. She wasn't acting all ditzy anymore. So Angela has said, like, hey, we heard, like, 3 noises. So now Angela is, like, spilling the beans. Like, hey, we heard, like, 3 noises of shit. And, like, we were all getting the chills and shivers. That's sign of, like, demonic infestation. I feel like I was talking to Alison over here when she was doing it. It's demonic infestation, brother. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it couldn't just be that it's cold, but it's demonic infestation for sure.
So kids, they're all like laughing and stuff. And then, of course, Roger, he wants to get the fuck out of there. He's like, listen, guys, I had a fucking preacher as a dad, and this is fucking House of the Dead and shit, so I got to get on out of here. All right. And, they're all saying, like, don't worry about it. We just, like, Stooges just wants to party, and, like, a lot of other people want to party. And this is when Angela say, listen, it smelled like rotten eggs. We got chills in here. I'm telling you, this is, like, a demonic possession. And then, like, it was like Jay or something said, no, it's just ghost. So then she has to explain to us what's the difference between a ghost house and a demonic possessed infestation house. Right.
The demon between a ghost and a demon. So a ghost is a dead human being. A demon has never been human.
Exactly. So like a demon's never had like a human body form before. It just kind of just floats around. Right. Okay. which actually makes this movie pretty interesting because what's about to happen, or what's already happening, where a demon spirit has entered a flesh surface before.
Yep.
Which is Susan. So Roger wants to leave, and it's Stooge just like, I just want to party, brother. All right, and then Susan basically says like, "Oh, you want to leave Roger and Helen? Okay, just take Angela's car." And Angela's like, "What the fuck?" And she's like, Susan's like, "Don't worry about Angela. You're not going anywhere." All right. Mm-hmm. So Roger and Helen take the keys and they leave. All right. And she's like, "Hey, don't forget to open the gates before you drive right through it." So we could tell something's gonna happen over there. And she's like, "Let's party." All right. And it's like, okay. And then Jay's like, "Oh, hold on, everybody. Before we go back into partying, me and Judy are going to go off somewhere. You know what I mean? And explore the house. Because, Jay is just here for sex, brother. That's his contract. He's like, I need to have sex with something tonight, brother. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, he should just say, yeah, just go have your party and we'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not going to take me long.
No.
All right. So now, I like this scene. This scene was pretty cool. So Susan's like, okay, well, I got to go to the bathroom too. Of course, Sal's like, oh, it's a scary place around here. I'll take it. So Sal's kind of like our New York guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like the Fonz. You know what I mean? The New York Fonz guy.
And of course, his name is Sal.
Yeah, Sal Romero too. Sal Romero. Yeah. But Susan's like, no, I don't want you. I want Stooge. And our boy's like, Sal's like, the fucking fat pig? You want the fat pig, not me? She's like, well, maybe I want some pork tonight. I was like, oof. God, fuck, bro. Just give me more. Give me more. Give me more of the corniness, bro. I love it. Okay. So then randomly out of nowhere, the Suzanne just goes up to Angela and just kisses her. To put the demon in her. And the guys are like confused and they're like liking it. I was like, hey, brother.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a wild night. You guys have no idea how wild it's going to be. And then the fire, while Suzanne is like turning Angela into a demon, the fire comes up and everything. So, and then Suzanne is like, Suzanne just says, I'm into all sorts of things tonight. And our boy Stooge is like, yeah, I'm going to fuck that thing. Let's go. And then now Angela, you can see that she is possessed and she starts to do a little bit of a smile. So it's really interesting to see how Angela turned into the demon, seeing that she's going to be like the main demon girl throughout the rest of the series. So now we have Judy. Judy and Jay. They're all looking around with Max and Feeney. They're all looking around too. And now Max wants to tell a story to everybody. Okay. And then Susan and Stooge, they go into a room. And then Susan pointed out that this room is probably the one open, and it was. And Stooge asked her how she knew it. She didn't tell him, and she just locks him out. All right, and now Stooge is trying to get in, but he can't. So now we get more story. You'll like this one, Alison. So Max talks about the ancient Indian tribe that was here. Oh, okay, we got to have one of those. Okay. We have the ancient Indian tribe was here, but they didn't settle like this far out, like on this land, because they knew this land was cursed or something. And the reason they know it was cursed because they had this guy that they exiled from their clan before he settled here, and he went insane, and he killed everybody in his tribe and made teepees out of them, like some sort of Ed Gein shit.
Right.
All right.
Human skin teepees.
Yeah. And basically what they did was they throughout the years, they condemned this land. And of course, us Americans don't give a shit about Indian ritual shit, kind of like in Pet Cemetery. So we just build on top. So we just build on top of it, and that's where all this fuckery is happening. So
that's why everything's all fucked up.
Yeah, and of course, you know what our boy Jay thought of this whole story? Everybody out there, and Alison, you know what he thought? He was like,
"What do you think?"
He's like, "I don't give a fuck. Can you guys leave so I can get my dick sucked?"
Exactly.
That's what he cared about, brother.
That's all we care about.
So that's what they do. He kind of Jay kind of gives him like the little the business, and then Max, oh yeah, we're gotta leave. We gotta explore some more. And Jay's looking to get that sex, brother. And of course Jay is trying to fuck up on Judy, but she says this place is too creepy for her. All right. I was like, girl, You're lucky this ain't 2023 because you probably put that shit on your OnlyFans. Don't lie. All right, don't lie to me, girl. I know.
I mean, you're not wrong.
No.
You're not wrong.
So now we have Helen and Roger. They're outside, but they can't find the gate anywhere. He was like, well, the gate was right here, because now the gate just turned into that brick wall. And then he's like, he's like, listen, man, you got to shut your mouth, girl. I'm going to find these gates and everything. We got to get out of here. And then eventually Helen just like disappears randomly. And now Roger's like freaked out. And then Roger goes into like this car. And I swear that this car had an Exodus sticker on it. Did you notice that?
I mean, that's likely.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big time for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Thrash metal is huge.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure it did. Like, I couldn't exactly tell because it was kind of like the sticker was kind of like a little messed up and everything, but I'm pretty sure it was an Exodus sticker on this car. Pretty sure that was the Boy Stooges car, too. So now Judy and Jay are making out, even though Judy didn't want to, but she's out making out. Jay, he's just trying to go all in there for it, brother. He don't give a fuck. There's demons and shit in Indian burial grounds. He's ready to fuck. But then, like, our girl Judy is like not giving that much, and then I couldn't believe this. This guy Jay was like, well, what's the problem? You've done this before. And she's like, what are you talking about? I was like, you and Sal, you guys dated, right? I mean, didn't you fuck him? I mean, what's the problem? You done it before. That's why I came here. You know, I thought you wanted it. All right, I thought you wanted this sex. And then she's like, whoa, just because I was like with Jay for like a month or something doesn't mean he was like, you know, we were at sex and stuff. It's like, oh, I know you're lying. So Jay gets all pissed off and he leaves. And then I guess when he leaves, he doesn't realize or he doesn't care that the door like locked Judy in. So she's stuck. So yeah, that's something you probably couldn't do now. So because like Judy's all alone now. So now Stooge, all right, he's like knocking on the door to get into the inside where Susan's at. And this is when we have Susan. Her face is now turning into like a demon. All right, she's like slowly transforming into a demon, or she can have her normal face and she can transfer to a demon's face too. So Stooge eventually breaks in. He doesn't see any Sally anywhere. It's like a dark room. So Sal is watching Angela, okay? And he's like, he asked her like, what the fuck are you doing? All right?
Yeah.
All right. So this is when like we're getting the building blocks to the famous Angela dance scene, okay? So Angela's just kind of like doing all these like creepy movements and everything, like doing all these dance movements. And then out of nowhere, the music kicks on with this great gothic song, which I actually put it on my Halloween playlist.
Yeah, Stigmata Martyr by Bauhaus.
By Bauhaus, brother. That's a great song, bro.
Yeah.
Great song.
Great song. Bauhaus is a great band.
Yeah, they're a great band, too. They're actually, I was doing some research about them. And apparently they're like one of the original goth bands.
Yes, I would say so, yeah. I mean, I like goth music, but I wouldn't call myself a goth music expert.
Yeah.
Like I would like a metalhead expert, but yeah, Bauhaus I would say is one of the original-ish goth bands for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, great band. I saw them several times actually.
Oh yeah? Oh shit. That's pretty great.
Yeah, I saw them one time. Yeah, I saw them one time opening for Nine Inch Nails, which was really fucking great.
That would have been a cool show. That's pretty wild. Yeah, but there's a great song. They fit the movie perfectly and her dancing perfectly. And I got to shout out to something too. I believe it was in 2009 where the remake happened. It could have been it's sometime in 2000. But the remake of Night of the Demons is fantastic as well too. And when they do the Angela dance scene, it's to Typo Negative. Black number 1.
Which song? Oh, of course.
Yes, of course, their famous one. I thought that movie, the remake, is actually pretty fantastic, and I would love to do it in a Lights Out. We're probably gonna do that next year. So
we'll probably do it. Yeah,
prepare yourself.
I always love Black number 1. I'm a huge Typo Negative fan, but not for the reason most people would think. But like, I love how like like how the dark humor that's in their music, and like Black Number One is like the goth girl anthem, right? But like it's actually making fun of goth girls, which I think is fucking fantastic.
Have you ever heard the? I know we're getting off, but have you ever heard the Typo Negative cover of Black Sabbath? The song Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
It's great. They did a great job
good.
with that.
Yeah. Peter Steele is a genius.
Yeah,
absolute genius.
So
anyway, we're off topic.
So it kind of goes with the movie. So now the strobe light kicks in, brother. I forgot to talk about the strobe light from earlier. Everybody got all excited when the strobe light happened. And I think the strobe light was from like, God, who is it? I think it was from Helen, where she said, yeah, I stole this from my mom. She used to be a big acid head in the 70s.
She was an acid head.
I was like,
I
okay.
thought this was
Fucking love this movie, bro. This is crazy. So now this scene is awesome, bro. Her dancing with the strobe light going on, like to this song and everything. This is a great scene. Fucking fantastic scene. I thought it was shot really well. And they hired the girl who played Angela pretty much for this scene because they wanted her to be a dancer. And apparently this girl who played Angela, she was in like some rock video beforehand. That's how they kind of found her.
Right.
So now Stooge comes in and he's all like, oh, what's going on over here? Because, he can't find Susan. He's looking the fuck too. And he's all like, hey, Saul's like, hey, something's weird over here. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. She's just ready to party. And then Stooge goes up to Angela and tries to slow dance with her. And then eventually Angela says, like, she never realized how much she liked him. And they start kissing. And then, of course, Angela now turns her boy Stooge into a demon. All right? So he is now a demon now, too. And she kind of, like, bites him. So now we see blood come out of her mouth. We can see Stooge's mouth get all crazy. But basically, she just turned him into a demon while doing that. And, of course, Saul goes to find... He's, like, looking around, and he eventually finds Susan. And Susan is putting on lipstick now. She has pink lipstick that she was losing this whole movie. And she kind of, like, draws, like a heart around her face. It kind of looks like a little bit of a heart around her face. And then our boy Saul's like, is everybody on drugs in this fucking movie? All right, because
basically, yeah.
Because Susan keeps asking, like, am I cute and everything? Am I cute with this? He's like, I guess. All right. He's like, he basically Saul right now just thinks that Angela and Susan are on like hardcore drugs right now. Okay, and this is all too weird for him. All right. It's like, and then she is like, he's like, I think I'm gonna go home now. And she's like, well, you are home right now. It's like, no, girl. This is not my house. My house has like nice plastic sheets and shit on there. Not this shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get out of here. And then this is when we get the scene, a little bit of a scene with Susan playing with the lipstick. And she takes off her shirt so we can see some tits, brother.
Of course, because that's what Linnea Quigley does.
Yes. She actually showed, like, this girl's known for showing everything. All right?
Yes.
So now we have Max and Freeney. They're going into this dark room, right? And they notice that there's a coffin in there. And our boy Max is like, hey, have we ever had sex in a coffin? She's like, no. I was like, okay, well, let's do it. I was like, okay. There we go.
Sounds good to me.
So now we're having one of the other famous scenes from this movie, which was Susan slowly putting the lipstick in her tit, brother.
Yeah.
You ever put a lipstick in your tit before, Alison?
No, but this like doesn't really become anything in the movie. It's just like, it's not even gory. It just shows her put it inside and then that's it.
Well, okay, so there was an original idea that the writer Joe was talking about. So the original idea was for her to take the lipstick and write 666 across her chest and then stick the lipstick in her chest, like right in her heart. Okay.
Yeah.
But they couldn't do that for a couple of reasons. They couldn't do. I guess it's for like the aesthetics of the whole lipstick getting in there without crushing. So we're like, okay, well, it's easier to put it in the tit. So they just changed it and actually became pretty iconic scene in the movie.
Right, because it's easier to make that prosthetic and push it inside.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, this scene to me was only for like the shock value. Like, oh shit, this demon girl just put a fucking, or this possessed girl just put lipstick in her tit somehow. So
yes.
And I was actually when I met Quig, I asked her about it. She said it was just a whole plastic. They made a whole mold for it, and that's how she did it that way with the mold. So. So now we have Jay. He's showing up. Okay, so after all the lipstick stuff, so Jay shows up, right? And he looks at Susan. He's like, "Oh, this is after Susan already put the tit. Everything that's already happened." Jay didn't see it at all. He just shows up. He's like, "Oh yeah, like I like your paint job." He was talking about Susan because she has paint all over her.
Yeah.
And then the lights just turn on, and I guess Jay is like, "Oh, the lights turn on and stuff," and Susan just goes right for the BJ. And he's like, okay, well, fuck the lights. And so our boy Jay is just looking to get fucked somehow. Okay? Because he was looking at Susan earlier. Yes. So now Saul, he's about to leave. I keep saying Saul. It's Sal. Sal, he is about to leave. And he sees Angela's hands are on fire. And of course, now he's freaking out because, okay, this shit ain't right at all now. So now we got back in the car with Roger, and he feels like Stooge is messing with them because he's moving the car, but then she sees dead Helena's body, and he starts freaking out. So now we got seeing some of the action coming on to the movie right now. So now Susan is she's taking off her panties, okay, and Jay is getting ready, and we're gonna be ready, and then we actually see the full Monty. With our girl, Susan. Okay? Like I said, this is wild, bro. This whole movie is wild. So they start having sex, right? And Susan's like, hey, what are you looking at? And Jay's like, what are you talking about? I'm not looking at anything. She's like, you like my makeup job? He's all like, yeah, what the hell are you talking about? It looks fine. And then Susan like whips her. They're all fucking during this too. Okay? Like the penis is in there, brother. Okay?
It is.
And Susan like flip out her head and he turns into the demon. She's like, what are you looking at? And he starts freaking out and shit. And then she like goes and does a Dario Argento special and she pokes his eyes out, brother.
Yep.
I thought that scene was fucking awesome. So.
Yeah, that was really cool. So this is when the movie started getting really good to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, it starts to kick up. And like so, the Joe guy, like I said, there was a very extensive interview with him. And he's like, he admitted it. It's like, listen, guys, like for budgetary reasons, I couldn't just do a bunch of prosthetics at the beginning of the film. So he said, like, his plan was at the beginning of the film, the first couple, the first half was going to be like jokes and comedy and, teenager shit. And then the second half is where all the action happens. I was like, okay.
Yes.
But, like, he was also saying, like, that was very, like, something you didn't really do back in the day. Because he said, like, a lot of times with these horror movies, you would start off with a bang and then maybe get into your story. Then go off with a bang again, Because he said he even got, his script read by Wes Craven. And Wes Craven told him, like, hey, you got to get something good for your opening scene. But he just said he just couldn't do that at the time. Like, he just didn't have the budget. So that's why he made it, like, structured like this format. Which I don't mind that, I think it's fine. So now we have so after we got that scene going, now we have Max and Francine. They're fucking in the coffin. We see Franny's titties in there too. All right, all these girls are hot, by the way. I just want to point that out there because it's the '80s, brother. And I like it, like
hot girls in your movie.
Yeah, exactly. So I like how they're like fucking in the coffin, and then like he's like they're like trying to move, and Franny's line is like, Max, I don't bend like that. Like, damn, okay. So then they're trying to like maneuver themselves in the coffin, and out of nowhere, Stooge just comes up, starts attacking them, and she fucking takes fucking Franny's head, like snaps her fucking neck, falls on Max. Max doesn't know what the hell's going on, and eventually Stooge kills, or I guess he rips off Max's arm through the casket. And I guess somehow this kills Max because he does become like a demon later, or something.
I suppose so, yeah.
So we have Roger's back in the house now. He sees Angela, and and then of course Roger also Roger's back in the house, and Angela comes up behind him saying welcome back into the house. Roger freaks out, and then they run into Sal, and they said something's happening, something weird's going on here, and they need to get out of here. And then we can see that Angela is like creeping through all right out the house. So Stooge is trying to get to where Judy's at, but he can't get inside there. And of course Judy, she doesn't know what's going on over here. She just thinks it's Jay. All right, but then Stooge hears Max's voice. He gets out of there. And then Judy, she's still stuck in that room. And then we have Sal and Roger. They're all looking around everything. They're kind of like going off on each other a little bit. And they eventually hear Judy's voice. Roger doesn't know what to think. He might not be her because, everybody's acting all weird. And of course, Sal opens up the room. Judy's there. And then we actually see a pretty cool scene, which I thought was pretty cool, was Angela floating. Like floating. Like, it looks like she was like floating throughout the house like a demon and stuff. So I thought that scene was pretty cool. So they all start running. Roger's just like, fuck these people. All right, he just runs all away and stuff. He leaves Sal and Judy alone. And Angela keeps floating around to try to get him. So when Judy finally sees Angela floating, she like freaks out. So she actually knows there's some demons happening now. Like, so there's like some stuff going on wrong over here. So this part's pretty wild. Just Judy and Sal, they end up in a room, right? And then of course Sal sees like a little window, because all the other windows are all boarded up and shit, but this one wasn't. And then they're on there, and then the lights turn on, right? And it's Susan with her caressing dead Jay's head, and she's all like, "Hey, what's up, guys? Y'all want an orgy? I'm pretty sure if we try, we can get Jay hard again. Ha 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 ha."
Ooh.
Fuck, bro. Where'd they find these lines? I love them. All right. And then, like, they all freak out. Sal tells Judy to run. And then eventually, Susan just throws fucking Sal's ass through the fucking window. All right. And then Judy gets on out of there. She runs. And then we see a bunch of scenes of the doors shutting all throughout the house. So all the doors are all shutting because they all control the house and stuff. So she's going to the... Okay, so Judy ends up in the coffin room. She sees dead Max's arm, and then Max's arm grabs fucking Judy. It grabs her, and she eventually whips it away. So another scene from Evil Dead. Remember, like the hand? Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, yeah. Like I said, bro, the most movie they copied was Evil Dead and this film. That's for sure. And apparently, Max and now Franny are both zombies now. They look more like zombies than they did like demons in this shit. Because they like the other demons, like, but actually it was weird. Like the only demons that actually like talked was like Susan and Angela. Like Stooge and all of them were just like, maybe that they're like lesser demons or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is like that's the kind of budget they had.
Yeah. We gotta focus on the main two, brother.
Yeah.
So now Judy, she's running all around. All right, she can't get outside, so she goes upstairs. Sal wakes up outside. He's in like the air shaft, and he climbs the water pipe to get on out of there. So Judy, she's in the dark now, and she sees Roger outside, because she's kind of like on that rooftop area, and she's like trying to run towards him and stuff. And then right before she gets there, she runs into Susan. All right, and then she sees her and she keeps on running, and then eventually Judy she's on the it's kind of like the tippy top of the roof, and then Stooge shows up. All right, so all the demons are kind of following her now, and then Roger's like kind of like saying like, "Hey, watch out, watch behind you. The Stooge is right behind you and stuff." And then Angela shows up, and Angela's like the only one that like kind of like talks in demon form, like fully talks in demon form. All right, says we're gonna come and get her, and of course Sal comes, and Sal he starts to fight off Angela, and they both fall off the roof, and of course this is when we can see our boy Sal. He got impaled, brother. So there goes our hero guy. He's dead now, and I like this part right here because our last two survivors right now, in this part of the movie is Judy and Roger, which kind of reminds me of the original Night of the Living Dead, where we had a blonde female and a black dude.
Yes.
So I thought that part was pretty cool. So, Judy, she's like, they're on the melee. She's about to fall off the roof, right? And our boy Roger's trying to guide her. And eventually she does fall down and she falls on Roger. And then they get up and they get on out of there. All right. And then we can see that Sal is dead now. And this is when Angela says, yes, Sal decided to stay with us, forever and stuff. And we can see that Sal has a grave there. And it gives his full name, Sal Romero, died on this day and stuff. And of course, they're running now. And Angela floats around because they thought Angela might have died from falling down. But nope, brother, that didn't do nothing. So now Roger and Judy, they run to the basement area. Okay, they're resting for a bit. And we can see that Roger he cannot handle this at all. Must have been that preacher dad, brother. Okay. The preacher dad didn't tell him about all this demon shit. Because he is like laughing and crying at the same time. So he's freaked out. And they're in the crematory. They're doing some like research around where they're at right now. And Judy thinks that big door that she found, like they could just escape right through it. But like, couldn't you tell it was just like a fucking furnace? Like I told like right away.
Yeah, I mean that's what it looked like to me. You're right.
And Judy's like, yeah, it might be a hidden tunnel. I was like, no, bitch, that looks like a fucking furnace. Okay. And then she finds a skull in there. She's like, oh, this is the furnace. I was like, yes, we know. That's what it fucking looks like. Okay. So now the demons, to find where they're at, they're trying to get in. All right. And now Judy comes up with the idea. It's like, listen, the only reason these demons are walking around is because it's like Halloween. Because, on Halloween, the spirits can like run freely at nighttime. But all we got to wait is here in this room until dawn and they'll just go away. And Roger's like, oh yeah, that could probably work. So now the demons are like close to opening the door though. And Roger he cannot handle it. And Judy's like, okay, well now Judy turns into her Laurie Strode apparently from 2018 Halloween, where she is now a badass. She's like, okay, well I'm gonna go grab this furnace pipe, okay, and I'm gonna light it so I can do a flamethrower now. Okay. I was scared of shit earlier, but I know how to do this. And of course Roger, he just can't into this stuff. So the door opens and then she eventually lights their ass up. Alright, she lights fucking Angela Stooge up with the flames, brother. So they go up in flames. And then Roger helps her turn off the gas. And he is just like, bro, he's like in shock. He could barely do anything. So now she's leaving with Raj. All the doors are closed. Why do you think all the doors are closing? Does that like mean something?
Probably, but I can't think of what it could mean. But I think it's just like keeping them in, kind of.
I guess it's supposed to mean like, it's supposed to show like, oh, you can't leave this house because all the doors are closing. All right, don't go out the window.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So now they're leaving and stuff, and then now we can see that they go to the front door, so they try to leave. But then Angela's back, and she's all like burnt, bloody and stuff. And she's like, hey, I got your bloody date over here. And now that we can see that Jay is now a demon, I guess you could turn into a demon when you poke out your eyes. All right. And now is he a demon, but our boy Sal is now a demon too. All right. And then Roger, he does one of my favorite shit. He's like, fuck this shit. And he just jumps out the fucking window. And he leaves Judy behind. It's like, fuck you, girl. I'm out of here. All right. And then they, so basically what Roger's trying to do, he's trying to climb the wall so he can get out of there because he knows the demons can't pass the wall. Okay. Because that's where the stream's at. So the demons can't walk on the stream. All right. So eventually, Judy, she follows Roger over there to the out of the window, and they try to climb up the wall. and then all the demons come out. So we have everybody there, all the demons. We have Angela, Susan's out there, Stooge is out there, Sal, Jay's out there, Max and Freddie, they're all out there, and they all try to like bring Susan down to them. So we got a little bit of a tug of war going on. Eventually Roger, he's already at the top. Like, he's quick. Like, he can fucking jump up and climb up brick walls, no problem. And he falls down, and he has a decision to make. He can either get his ass out of there, or he can save Judy. Because you know how scared he was earlier. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In the furnace room. All right? He had the cold feet there, brother. But he was like, you know what? I'm going to save this girl, because, you know, maybe she'll get with me later or something. So he goes there, saves her ass from there, and they both fall off the wall. Okay? And then when they do that, we randomly just get green fog. Alison, can you explain the green fog to me? I know you were very detailed about the movie.
Yeah, it's this magical fog.
Yes.
That has like all the evil spirits that the Indians were afraid of. They're all in that green fog.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Why is it green though? Why can't it be like, red?
Well, I mean, green's a nice color.
It's nice. So we have this green. I like my notes. So we see this green smoke and a demon's 80s head, the demon 80 head. You know, the little pterodactyl head we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, he shows up, and he's like looking around, and he just like, I guess like when you escape the wall and they don't have anybody to torture, they just go back to their normal form or something.
I guess so.
So now maybe because they were outside and the dawn happened. I have no idea. I didn't see no light. I guess light happened. So then we see the sun come up, after they've already been away. And we see Roger and Judy, they actually survived. So we have two final girl and guys in this movie. And they're walking home all defeated and shit because, they just got, their friends all died and, they didn't have enough Halloween candy and beer, at the Hall House, so they're all disappointed. And they passed the old guy from earlier. Okay. And they, basically the guy was like, I hope all these fucking kids rot in hell. All right. And then the old guy goes back into his house. He sits down for some food. I guess his breakfast food. And, the wife is there, and she's like, hey, is your food okay? And he's like, yeah, it's okay. What is it? He's like, well, it's homemade pie. And he's like, homemade? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, there was a bunch of apples in here. I don't know why you fucking buy a bunch of apples so much for Halloween, but I crushed them all together to make them not go to use, and I made you a pie. And he looks around like, oh, fuck. And then, I guess if you eat homemade apple pie with razor blades, your throat melts, and then razor blades pop out.
Well, you do start bleeding when the razor blades cut into you.
Yeah.
Although it's kind of weird that she would not notice that they're razor blades.
Well, I think she knew it because then after the razor blades melt out of our boy old guy's mouth, the wife comes up to him, kisses him all happy, and says, "Happy Halloween."
Yeah. So she basically just murdered him.
Yeah. And then we have the end credits with the great 80s love song saying, at the edge of it all, song, I love you, brother. And then that ends the Night of the Demons, brother. I love this movie. Fantastic. So y'all know my thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. It's not to be made serious. It's no fucking... Yeah. You know what I mean? It's no fucking Stephen King shit over here.
No.
But we have a great, fun party movie. You go in there, you have a couple beers, maybe have a pizza, have a hot girl or guy on your side, whatever you guys like to do, on your side, by your shoulder. You guys party, watch this movie, enjoy the retro blood. That's all that's all the movie was, brother. It's all just a good time.
Pizza and Halloween candy. Yeah, really good.
Fun movie. I love this movie. Like I said before, it's not it's fucking classic. You're gonna save this documented footage and put it in some sort of history hall of fame. But I think it's a great Like if you're watching like a marathon of horror movies, you could pop this one in. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
So I love
it would be a good, if you have a Halloween party, like, so what would be really cool is if you had a Halloween party at a big house, not unlike the house in this movie.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you have beer and you have people hanging out and you have hot girls and, you know, cool people and heavy metal and goth bands and playing on the boombox. And then in the background, you've kind of got like, you know, horror movies projected on like a big screen or something. This could be one of those.
Exactly.
That could
That's
fit
what
in
I'm
there
saying.
Pretty well.
Like you don't have to pay attention to it during the movie. You know what I mean? Like at the party. But it's on the background. If you want to watch it, you know, just watch it. It's a great time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And that's what I think some horror movies should be. You know, they don't have to be like this whole like dark.
It doesn't have to be deep.
Know? Yeah, like that's like I was saying this before. Like I'll say it here for this one. Like a lot of horror movies, like nowadays, you know, they have to be like very deep, very dark, very broody. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like this tragedy happened. You know what I mean? We got to be very somber music and shit. Like, bro, I just want to party sometimes. All right? Can you just show me a horror movie? Let's just go out there, have some fun, have some demons, teenagers going all crazy and shit. And then, you know, that's why I kind of like
we're really bad about that now.
Yeah, that's why I kind of liked the Terrifier too, because I thought it was pretty fun. Like it was a fun horror movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just need more of that now. Everything's too serious nowadays, brother. Let's just get out there and have fun. So that's my 2 cents on it, Allison. But what'd you think?
I agree. We should go back to having fun. I mean, I think that, I mean, it's just a dumb movie. I mean, it's like, you know, like it doesn't take a lot of thought, but it doesn't need a lot of thought. It's just fun. It's just a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's all you need.
Like you could watch it with no sound and still get the same impact out of it.
Exactly. You just have a good time in the background, play some metal during it. You could play the whole King Diamond CD during this and everything go just fine. No problem. So, but yeah, I mean, fuck, bro. What a Halloween month it's been for the Retro Blood. I mean, we did.
Hell yeah.
But this has been a wild month if you think about it. I mean, we did Jason 5, which had tits and cocaine. Okay. Mm-hmm. We did Jason 7 that had some little bit of tits and telekinesis shit going on. We had fucking Jason Takes Manhattan, which had fucking heroin and fucking dark scenes and that shit. Yeah. And then we get fucking Night of the Demons. So I'd say this is a pretty successful Retro Blood month, everybody. So pretty wild this month. So, and of course we had the we've already had the battle of the Halloween Havocs happen of the Lights Out, brother, which you whooped my ass at. And of course,
victory.
But we're not done though, because in about 2 days from now, on Halloween, brother, the the Lights Out is back, talking Freddy versus Jason. So
yeah, how could we not do that? It's right up our alley.
Well, we had to, because you know we did the Freddy movies at our beginning of the show, and of course this year we did the Jason movie, so we had to talk about Freddy versus Jason. So should be a pretty fun one. Good old discussion on there. But yeah, everybody, a happy Halloween from the Retro Blood. Hope you all were drinking. Like I think we encourage people to drink during this episode, right? Like if you
should be drinking during this episode. You've done it wrong.
Yeah, if you haven't, like just like, you know, save this tape for later, listen to it again, and then start drinking. You'll enjoy it a lot more.
Do it again. Yeah, drink some beer, eat some Halloween candy.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
And then you could put the movie on the background while we're talking about it too. You could do that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. So, but everybody, before we get out of here, so, you know, next month, November, brother.
Big month. We talked about this for a long time.
I'm pretty excited about this month because I haven't seen any of these movies before, and it's going to be a pretty fun topic. So if you remember last year, everybody, we did a Universal Monsters month where we talked about Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman. What was the other one? Mummy. Yeah, how could I forget the Mummy? How could I forget that movie?
That was great.
So this
in the archives, go back and listen to it.
So for November, we have decided to break that down a little bit. And we have decided to do werewolf movies out of the 1980s, which I cannot believe there is a shit ton of those fucking movies out there.
Lots of them.
That's crazy. Like, there's just so many. Just on werewolves alone. So
and we picked 4
4, yes.
From all over the world.
Yes.
And all different kinds of werewolf movies. So you're going to enjoy this.
Yes. And of course, the first one we're starting out pretty hot, brother, and pretty crazy one, which I've heard is pretty crazy. It's going to be The Company of Wolves.
Yes.
Which you can find on Shudder, I believe.
Shudder. Shudder has it, yeah.
It used to be on the Peacock, but I think it's on the Shudder now. So, but yeah. So come join us in November, everybody. We're going to be talking all about werewolves. I mean, what's better than that? Werewolves and Thanksgiving. And I do want to bring this up. I might bring this up with you later, Alison, about maybe reviewing that new Eli Roth movie. That Thanksgiving.
Maybe, yeah. We can. Yeah, because that's finally coming out, right?
Yeah, it's coming out this year and next month, or this coming month in November. So.
Yeah, because he's been talking about doing that since Grindhouse came out like 10 years ago.
Yeah, he's been talking about doing it for a while.
More than that, yeah.
And I'm pretty excited because we haven't had a good Thanksgiving themed horror movie in a while. We have a lot of Christmas ones, but we don't have a lot of Thanksgiving ones. So I'm pretty excited about that movie. So we're probably end up talking about that in the Lights Out too. So we'll see. But everybody, it's time to get on out of here. The party's now coming again. You don't have to leave, but you can't stay here, brother. All right. So we're.
It's very funny.
That's a pretty good line. I used to hear that in the bar all the time. So how about we leave everybody with some King Diamond, brother? Probably my favorite song off the album. We're gonna be listening to "Welcome Home."
That's perfect. Welcome home.
Because it does relate to this movie because all the demons were basically saying welcome home to the Hale House. All right? Mm-hmm. And this is your new home. You're going to be stuck here forever. And you're going to be a deadly demon, brother. So.
Yep.
But everybody, cheers. Happy Halloween. I'm going to go pass out somewhere. And we will see you in 2 days on the Lights Out, brother, and next month for the werewolf movie. So,
come and see us.
Alison, James Kline.